Hello Ms. Noah, welcome to vlog number 7 for issues in e-learning. So for this vlog I'll be talking about the socio-technical perspective that we read about for this week's reading, and then I'll be reflecting on the talk by Mr. Sultan Ayub that we had last week during our lecture. So firstly, talking about social technical perspective, basically it states that it doesn't matter how advanced or powerful the technology we use is, but what's important is that how we use the technology to achieve our social balance or the purpose of our teaching and learning. Other than that, there were 4 terms that I read in the readings, which were automate and informate, interconnectivity, flexibility, and task technofit. I'm not going to be going into detail for this, but I will be moving on mostly to reflect on the talk by Mr. Sultan Ayub. So Mr. Sultan Ayub also talked about the socio-technical perspectives of e-learning. So the first thing he talked about was what are the challenges, the issues we face, or what is it that we are competing with when we are trying to carry out e-learning. The first thing that he talked about was tradition. And tradition means that basically the way people are used to teaching right now, which is face-to-face, using books, actually being physical in the class. So because of this tradition of face-to-face learning, it makes it kind of challenging for them to move from that environment to a new environment of e-learning, where it's completely different. Other than that, he talked about the archetypes, or as he said, something like stereotypes, and the paradigms of learning. So archetypes or stereotypes basically mean that how the people presume education is. So for them to actually think education is something else, and then you introduce something new like e-learning to them, it clashes with their previous stereotype of what they think learning actually is. Before this, they could have thought learning would be in a class with a table, pencil, paper, book, teacher in front of the class. That is the stereotype they have, or the archetype they have for learning. And the third point is the preconceived notions and ideas of learning. This is kind of similar, I believe, to archetypes and paradigm, where the individual has a preconceived notion of what they think learning is, and then it's a challenge to them when something new comes in and it's completely different. Other than that would be individual learning curves and obstacles of students. So this poses as a challenge for e-learning because every student has a different learning curve. As we know in maths, there's the y-axis and the x-axis, and then the child's learning curve could either take longer time before it curves up and they learn, or it could just take a short time and just straight up learn. Next we have bureaucracy and administrative restraints and financial problems. When you want to introduce e-learning, it's going to be like, okay, administrative offices, bureaucracy will be like, alright, you want to do that, but where do we get the money? Where do we get the resources for it, right? And the last point, the last challenge he says is the mentality of people thinking it's teachers versus technology, or teachers better than technology or less than technology. The thing is, teachers can never be replaced by technology no matter how advanced it is. That is at least what he's explained to us. Next he asked us about how we adapt to an e-learning environment. Some of the things we can do is convince others on the use of technology, try to relearn everything we know about school in an e-learning perspective, come to an understanding that learning is no longer just memorizing and exams, but it's something more than that, something to develop students in a holistic sense. Then he asked, what do we want technology to do for us? And the easiest answer was that we want technology to make teaching easier, because technology can be used in a way to engage students to ensure that their attention isn't shifted from our lesson. And he also touched a bit on the pedagogy wheel that is basically an extension of Bloom's taxonomy, where it shows the different kinds of apps and things you could use in e-learning based on each of the levels of Bloom's taxonomy. So far for this for this week, I have no questions. So I'll move on to how I feel this can help me in my future learning. So after learning this, it serves as a reminder that I need to choose the most suitable technology and platform to fulfill the social purpose or the task of my lesson. And learning the pedagogy wheel helps me plan what platform I need to use to actually carry out my lesson efficiently. And knowing the challenges that I may face because of these things like tradition and preconception makes me know that I need to be strong and be able to get my message through about the benefits of e-learning. And with that, I end my vlog number 7, and I will see you next week, Miss Noah. Goodbye.